Should Ghana ban the use of screens in the classroom? My name is Dr. Brew. I'm a developmental pediatrician, and you can follow us on Gentle Brain MD Ghana. In the last few weeks, if you've been following international news, you would know that some countries have started putting in measures to prevent exposure of screens to children, especially before the age of 5. A couple of weeks ago, Britain came out with a rule that children below 5 should have restricted use of the screen. They followed the WHO recommendations, which say that children below the age of 2 should not be exposed to the screen at all. And children from 3 to 5 years should have maximum of 1 hour of screen use. And that should be in a social set, meaning that it should be an interactive use of the screen with other adults around. And then the following week, Sweden also passed the rule that all screens should be removed from classrooms and that children should be taught completely by human beings. I think we are familiar also with the Australian law that says that children below the age of 16 should be taken off social media and that they should not be on social media. Now, countries all around the world are taking measures to protect their children. Do you think it is time for Ghana to also put in such measures? You can put your comments down and let's discuss it. We want to look at the issues associated with screen use among children, especially when they are so young. Now, parents, you would notice that if your children are having the screen or have the use the screen, let's say the television, phone, or tablets, your house becomes very quiet, and the children can be on the screen the whole day, and there won't be any noise, no talking. As soon as you take the screen away, you hear the quarrel start, the screaming, the shouting, and the noise in the house. That tells us something that brains tend to slow down when they are on the screen. And so their attention is just on the screen. But remember that the younger the child is, the more active the brain is supposed to be because the brain is growing. So when we talk about brain growth, we are talking not just about the size of the brain growing, but we are talking about the fact that the various cells start to interact with each other across various space. So the cells at the front of the brain will interact with the cells at the back of the brain and vice versa, and it's all over the place. And that is because children are having experiences. And so if a child, for instance, is introduced to the football, the cells that are associated with the eye will start interacting with the ones with the ear, and then the ones are associated with the leg and the hands, and so the different cells tend to interact. However, if you take the child off the football and you put the child in front of the screen, then it means you stop this process. But we need to do this process most before the age of 5. And so it's important for us to know that when we put the screen in front of a child below the age of 5, we are stopping that natural process of the child learning to build interaction between the cells themselves. What the screen does, for instance, if you put on an academic channel, is to teach the child to learn things the same way. So, for instance, A is A. A cannot be anything else but A. And so the child's brain is just being bombarded with A is A is A, B is B, 1 is 1, blue is blue. The child's brain is just being fixed like that. So there are no interactions. But life, we know, is not only A. There's so many versions of A when it comes to actual life. And so our children need to learn about all these differences before we start thinking of teaching them A is A. And that is why the actual academic learning should start when the child is 5. Below that, the child should experiment with life. And so if we take the screens from the classroom, then it means our children will learn to engage with each other and particularly with the teacher. If the teacher is teaching the children to jump or to talk, and the teacher is looking at the children smiling, laughing, the child can also learn to do the same. I think it's time for us to say that children below the age of 5, especially, should learn from human beings and not from a computer. I think the best way for a child to learn how to smile is to watch an adult smile and smile back, or to talk, or to even say please, or to say thank you. Child should learn it from an adult. where the world is going, we'll have so much years ahead to learn how to use the computer. But if the child is below 5, let's allow the child to be natural, to learn how to use his voice, to learn how to do things himself. And it's time for us to have that discussion. Children below the age of 5, especially, should be protected from the use of screen. And children in primary schools, we should have that discussion too about removing the use of screens there and letting the human beings teach our children. Parents, what do you think? What has been your experience with your child? What did you find out? If your child has been on the screen for a long time and you finally realize there's a problem, what did you actually notice? Let's talk about that in the comments. Thank you.